So originally, we were going to have an entire hour of mingling and checking out the vendors in the other room, but we decided you probably might want to leave early today, so you can get ready for your after party. David Kyle has arrived, and he's going to be talking about local pay-per-click advertising. After him is Jeff Staub, talking about getting the most out of your paid search campaigns. Once again, thanks to Fort Mill Barbecue for all the food and the spread back there. The brownies were delish, according to all the hashtags that we saw talking about brownies back there. So, big round of applause for David Kyle, everybody.
Hey guys, I'm going to be talking about it's local pay-per-clicks, pretty much the gist of it, but it's really not all of local, but just really when you're optimizing for leads, phone calls, and form submissions. So it's not going to apply to every local campaign you might run, but it's the majority of them. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do when you're setting the campaign, the first 4 steps I'm not going to go through, hopefully everyone knows how to do this, is you're going to name the category, you're going to do your geo-targeting settings, you're going to do your networking devices, and then select your bidding options. The 5th selection is what's new here, or it's, I won't say very new, but within the last year. There's a new feature called ad extensions, and for local, you're going to want to use 2 of these. And the first one is going to be the location ad extension, and the best practice is to link it to the Google Places account. Hopefully it's in the same AdWords account, and if not, it does give you the option to link it to another Google account that has the Places account in it. There is another option to use to manually enter the address, but I'd recommend using the Places account, and I'll share that later. The other option is going to be the phone call. You semi-ask the phone number. Now you should know that the location, if you link it to your Places, the phone number is actually already going to be there. The call selection is basically, when you'll see on the next screen, it's going to give you an option to say, hey, do you want to, when it's a mobile device, do you want to only allow a click to make a phone call, meaning that they're not going to go to your website. When they click that ad, it's just going to immediately dial the phone number. And then there's another option, which generally doesn't apply to the way I set things up, but they do have call metrics enabled, which will put a toll-free Google Voice number in the ad, and those are $1 per call. So like I said, the call format only for mobile. It says that it's only going to, when they click it, if they see the ad and they click it, it's going to immediately dial them. You as a marketer are going to have to decide whether that's best for your situation or not. I know, for example, for my attorney client, I do select that just because people really aren't looking to browse and just want to talk to somebody. So any kind of service-oriented industry, you're probably going to want to enable that. Notice underneath that selection it says you cannot use call metrics with this extension because it is shared by more than one campaign, and because I've got every category in its own campaign. But if you decide to do it by ad groups and want to do that toll-free number, you would be allowed to. I don't like using them because I think that the local numbers are better for click-through ratios when someone Googles something for, let's say we're in Charlotte, it's a 704 area code. You Google an attorney in Charlotte, and you see an ad, you see a 704 number. It's like, hey, that is somebody that's local, that's somebody that's relevant, and I've tested that. Let's say in like 2008, 2009, you didn't have this, and I tested, placing the phone number in the ad copy versus not having it there, and the click-through ratio was always higher when you had the phone number present. So now with this ad extension, you can actually take it out of the ad copy because it will be appended to the ad underneath, and you've got more room to put in your text. So earlier I said you want to link it to your Places account. And this is kind of forward speculation, but this is a good example. The date of this email was June 6th. This is another attorney client of mine in Houston, and he says, David, would it be effective to have our Google ads deliver our Google reviews complete with stars, like the guys right below us? And you don't see the stars in his copy and paste, but you will see in the bottom on there it has the 7 reviews link. And sure enough, the stars were showing up. And this, my client's been working very hard over the past couple of years, building his review base. I think he's like at 26, 27 now. And it turned out this was a feature in Boost, and I told him that, and I said, I'm kind of shocked that this is not, we have your Google Places account linked probably spends between 50 and 75,000 a year, and you know, he's wanting to switch to Boost, and I tried to tell him, I said, hey, you know, you're going to get the stars in the ad, okay, but you're not going to have negative keywords, you're not going to have day parting, and you know, that was just, you know, a few of the major things to optimize account. You just lose control with Boost. And I said, let me contact Google and you know, see what they say about this, because I'm sure if you got on the phone with them and told them what you want to do, they would talk to you about it. And so I contacted Google, and I talked to the person. They said they agreed. They said, you know, yeah, this is not something he wants to do. You know, if you're already with AdWords, you don't want to switch into Boost. And I said, well, so what do you want me to tell him? And he goes, well, that's, you know, just tell him what you said. He said, but in the meantime, when you fill out the survey, he said, if you wouldn't mind, leave a message. Anytime you fill out the survey, a Google phone call, they give you the option to leave a message. And the message I left with him was just kind of reiterate what was happening. I said, this guy's been a long-time AdWords client, spends a decent amount of money, and I've got his campaign performing well, but he wants to switch to Boost for the sole fact so he can get the stars in the ad. And it would be nice if you guys would do this for your AdWords customers. And that hasn't happened yet, but July 25th, Google Boost now becomes AdWords Express. I like to think I had a small part in that, but who knows? That was a good change, I thought. It lets people know that, hey, it's not the same as AdWords, and those using AdWords are better off. So if you guys have got a client wanting to switch to Boost, and in the meantime, I have not seen reviews in Boost ads as of late. I don't know if any of y'all have. But again, speculative here is I think that was a good feature, and it's something that may come down the pipe in the future, so it's just good. I think it's good to have your Places account linked with your AdWords account. Another theory is, I don't know if you guys have seen the new multi-channel analytics, just multi-channel funnels in analytics that just came out from Google. And the nice thing I noticed with one of my e-commerce clients is I was able to go back 2 years with data, and even though this is a new feature, it was giving me the multi-channel data from a year ago. So if Google does do something that integrates Google Places with the AdWords and the reviews, there's a good chance that all the data that's there, you're going to be able to analyze this new feature. So instead of just manually typing the address, having it linked with your Places account is the best way to go. Okay, so back to the process. When you're filling your ad, this is a very important step to get those addresses and phone numbers displaying. And the reason I bring this up is I see a ton of local ads that just are not implementing this. So just pointing this out. When you set up your ad, it's a simple process, and you'll notice at the bottom it says, once you have it linked, it says 3 addresses from campaign settings are eligible to appear with this ad. And then there's a link there that says always show with 1 address. Now, really, I think you're pretty much always going to want to select always show with 1 address unless you're doing some kind of chain that has a lot of locations in one city. And then you're kind of dependent on Google what it chooses to display. But this guy is an attorney in Charlotte. He has an office in Raleigh, an office in Charlotte, an office in Monroe. So those are 3 differently complete cities. And so we choose. I want to select just show 1 address, and that ensures no matter where the person is searching, it's going to include his address and phone number in the ad. And so when you click the always show with 1 address, a light box pops up with the prompt at the right, and you select the appropriate address, and when you select it and you choose, it will now bring this the new screen up saying this is what's confirmed, and it will give you an option to say, hey, the target location within anywhere from 5 to 100 miles of the address, and 20 miles is the default. But I'll just say, depending on what your geo-targeting settings are, I will just have it match that. So that, again, it's just all about having that local phone number show up with the ad. And that's what it looks like. This is just a query for Charlotte Attorney. He's taken first position, and you'll see that it's the address and the phone number, and then even a directions link to it. Now you'll notice position 3 has a blue bubble, and the reason why, if you're actually showing in the OPAC, which is position A, you don't get a bubble in the map there, and that's I wish they would put something, because I think that it makes the competitors' ads stand out a little bit more. But if you're wondering, that's why. If you are showing up in the OPAC, you will not get a balloon in the paid search, in the paid search results. And also, if you do a non-geo-modified query, for example, this car accident attorney, we're taking the first position again, and same story. Even though it's the old 7-pack, which I don't know if you guys are aware of this, it seems to be a constant state of flux between whether they want the O-Pack, 7-pack, or 3-pack. I don't think they've decided on anything yet. It still seems to be something they're testing. Same story. If the O-Pack shows up, you're not going to get the bubble. But again, it shows you that the address and the phone number stands out without taking up any of your ad space. Okay, not using call tracking. So stupid. All right, anybody seen UHF? Anybody? We're referencing that movie, but it's called Classic from '89. Go see it if you haven't seen it. It's a great movie. If you're doing local search campaigns for search-oriented businesses, it's all about the phone calls. And so phone call tracking is absolutely necessary. It's just absolutely necessary. There are a lot of solutions out there. Last year, last year's Search Exchange, I did speak about the Marchex platform. It is a good platform. It is enterprise level. A lot of features. Very pricey, guys. Very pricey. And it would not be cost effective for most local, small business types. And not to mention they require a contract, spend commitment. I mean, they're really out to get your money. I've also used Mongoose Metrics. I actually started out with Mongoose when they were a fledgling company. Had a lot of issues with their performance, but from what I understand, they've come a long way. I've also tried If by Phone. I did not continue with them because of their JavaScript rewrite method. They actually didn't have one. They didn't have a phone number at all. They would just pin and refer. They would have a blank spot that would populate based on refer, and that's not good for the SEO part of things. And one of the newer ones I've seen is CallRail. If you're looking for a ready-to-go selection, that seemed to be the least expensive. It had all the tools and reporting that I liked, and there was no call commitment, and the price was reasonable. But at the end of the day, why not just roll your own? And that's what I've done, thanks to the guidance of John Payne here. I think I'm going to put
reference me with this.
Well, it'll get to it. Mine said. Okay.
Bring me up like two. There you go. Down.
All right. So, Roll Your Own is from a blog post over at Mike Lesko. Everybody familiar with him? Runs SEO Overflow. He wrote an awesome blog post that John shared with me. It was in the end of 2009, and I can't believe I had never seen it before because I'd done quite a bit of searching for the right solution. But it's basically a customized script with the Twilio cloud platform, and it just makes an awesome call tracking solution. It is outstanding. If you go over to SEO Overflow, just Google, SEO Overflow roll your own. He gives you a nice JavaScript, just step by step, and then an open source piece of code which you can customize and run with to suit your own purposes. And it's, I love it. And it's not, most of all, what's important here is the Twilio is so cheap. Twilio will give you automatically a $30 free trial, but in order to get the full features you need, you do have to spend another $10 to turn into a paid account. So for $10, you get $40 worth of service to try them out, and it's pay as you go. It's no commitment. When your funds run down, you just reload again. But the most important thing about whoever you choose in your call tracking, you want to make sure they have a JavaScript rewrite. Okay, and the JavaScript rewrite here is basically going and saying it has to go after the analytics code. So what it's doing is it's reading the data in analytics. Where is this traffic coming from? And based on your parameters, like this is the example from the script, we are setting up organic, Google CPC, Yahoo organic, and Bing organic. And then basically, based on what that information is, the bottom part, it will basically scan through your HTML, and it looks for a phantom spam tag, which you create around the number, the default number. And it will rewrite that on the fly. So the point is that the default number stays in your source code. So for your local SEO purposes, but when someone comes and let's say comes from Yahoo Organic, it gets rewritten to one number versus if Google pay-per-click, it's going to be another number. So at the end of the month, you're able to give your client a very nice breakdown of, hey, you spent this much money with Google AdWords. Here's the phone calls they produced, and this is what you're investing with SEO. Here's the results you get, the number of phone calls you got with your SEO. But David Mims said, and you might recall a article. Anybody know who David Mims is? He's like technically the search engine land local search guru. Yes, no, anybody? He wrote an article about what I think what his intentions, what he was exactly talking about was correct. The overall theme of it, I disagree with. And what he really meant to say was that what you don't want to go do is create a different tracking number and submit, like, let's say you go to submit your listings to UBL. You don't want to put a tracking number to UBL. You don't want to sign up for Yelp and give a different tracking number. Okay, you want to give the same default number, because that's, I hate going to the SEO part here because I know this is paid, but the whole point about getting ranked in maps is having a consistent business name, address, phone number, citation. So, you know, Google wants to see that, hey, this business name, this address, this phone number is the same on Yelp, it's the same on City Search, it's the same on your website. And that shows that, hey, it's a relevant business that's being mentioned, you know, out there in the internet. So it can't be done with the JavaScript rewrite because it's as far as Google sees, the prime number never changes in the source code. Google will never see the JavaScript rewrite. Okay. Now I hear some of you SEOs panties getting all wad. That's cloaking, right? We're showing one thing to the search engines, and we're showing another thing to the user. And in the most technical sense, I would agree with you that yes, that is technically what's going on, but I do not think it is considered cloaking as Google or the other search engines would see it. In the sense that, and here's the reason why. I say no. And I said this method shows the same content to a user who doesn't use cookies as it does to the search engine. And that's the point I left out, is that in these systems, it's all, the person has to have cookies enabled to get this thing to work, because that's how it writes, hey, this is where this visitor came from, and this is why you should rewrite the number. And a nice feature about that is somebody clicks your paid ad, right, and doesn't make a phone call, and then comes back 2 days later, types it in, even though they came in directly, that cookie information is going to say, hey, this first click attribution was a paid search, so show them the paid search number, all right? So technically right there, that if they don't have cookies enabled, they're still seeing the same number. The second reason I say is that the end result of all tracking numbers is the same as the default number. Therefore, the user experience is not changing, it's the exact same thing. They call a number, they're going to get that business. And the intent is good. There's no trickery. We're not optimizing for one word and showing a casino site or all the other sneaky redirect black hat stuff out there. So again, I don't think you have to worry about cloaking. I've been using this method for years, and I'm tracking. I've got a local number. I mean, I just talked to John. He's got local numbers going down to the campaign level. But if you so desire and have the budget, you could get as granular as tracking phone numbers from the keyword level. And I'm sure a lot of the some of the bigger places with the budgets, lead generation type companies, the budgets are doing that right now. So no, I do not think you have to worry about cloaking, and it's completely white hat and above board. That's really all I had to go over. Put the link on here to the SEO Overflow and Twilio. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's David Cotton. Thank you. I thought we were doing Q&A afterwards. Sorry. So we're doing Q&A separate. One-on-one. Do you have any questions?
Question for you. Do you have any, I guess, issues with your clients, with the receptionist or whoever answering the phone about knowing where this call's coming from?
Oh yeah. I mean,
Is that a hurdle that you have to explain to them? You have to train them?
Oh, I mean, yeah, you're hitting the head on the nail. I mean, I mean, I'll give you a few real world examples. I mean, it is an excellent, I mean, it's a selling point in itself when you're recording the calls to the client, because it's quality control, okay? The attorney client I've been referencing, he fired a girl the way she was answering the phone, okay? Also, I have a sign company up in Huntersville, and they also specialize in print, and there's a certain kind of photo printing called G-Clay, and I've never heard of it before, but he was like, we got this special printer, we spent a lot of money on it, I want G-Clay campaigns up there. So I created them, and literally like a week later, a call came in, and the guy talking to employees says, you do G-Clay? He's like, no, we're just a sign company. So I had to tell him, I was like, hey, you need to educate your employees, because you just had a G-Clay call, and your guy said you didn't do it, and this is something very important to you. And then third thing, as a marketer, is an insurance policy. I had a window cleaning guy back years ago. He's not with me anymore, but this is when I first had call tracking enabled, and like the first or second month, he was kind of complaining. He was like, I'm not really getting any leads, and blah 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 blah. The guy didn't answer 75% of his phone calls. And if I didn't have that call tracking to prove that he was not answering his phone, I would have just been like, okay, I'll work hard. But here it is. I mean, that was the proof. They said, hey, you were not answering your phone. So there's a lot of good uses for call to what you're doing for them. But you're absolutely right. Is that the training it makes all the difference. I mean, I'll give you one more example. I worked with 2 dentists in Charlotte, and one guy was just had been just dependent upon insurance referrals for his entire time. And then that started kind of drying out, and he was a client of my attorney went to him, and so he recommended him. But just the way those people answered the phone call, and one phone call said, "How much is it to get a teeth pulled?" "Oh, we don't pull teeth." And I was just kind of like, really? Even if that's the case, I mean, how does that person know that the teeth needed to be pulled? I mean, if someone Googles dentist Charlotte and you don't pull teeth, it could be something else happening. That's not your decision to make. Your point is to, hey, this is somebody with a tooth problem, get him into your damn office and make a sale. So, it is. And then the point is the other dentist, he's got this whole training room downstairs, whiteboards and conference rooms, and spends probably thousands of bucks a month. I wouldn't say thousands, but he spends a good bit of time training his employees on upselling, and he's rocking it. And also the point is that the guy that's rocking it is paid for fee, meaning he doesn't even accept insurance, and the other guy was accepting insurance. So that tells you that yes, training your staff makes all the difference. So at the end of the day, as a marketer, I just say, hey, prove that you're sending the phone calls, prove you're sending the leads, how they're handling, what they're doing with them. Hey, that's out of your hands. Anybody else?